Welcome aboard, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Wednesday, February 19th, 2014. Today we are live in the neighborhood. Had a really good international live chat this morning. I believe there were 72 people there once everything was all said and done. Want to read you what one of the guys from Australia wrote. This is hot off the press. This was in this morning's chat room for Dr. Glidden insiders and their guests only. Bryce from Australia writes, I haven't been able to work for the last 6 months and quickly ran out of money. Paying to see MDs, who I found out later had no clue about how to fix me. They always had some drug for every symptom I named, and I thought there's something wrong with this picture. I thought these guys were supposed to know how to fix people. Isn't that their job? So I stopped going to them, threw my drugs out of contempt, and started looking around on the YouTube to see if I could help myself. Found a video of a guy with a mustache saying cholesterol is good for me, and that's Dr. Wallach. Then I found a video of some guy telling me that the MDs are idiots. That would have been me. Ha, ha, ha. Then I said, yep, I'm listening to these guys for some reason. I trust them. Really, really great. We had another nice testimony from British Columbia this morning in the live chat. Darren from Surrey, British Columbia wrote, I have someone over 300 pounds that has a lot of health issues, capitalized. He's on the Healthy Start Pack and plant minerals. Today is his third day, and he just called me to tell me that he was pain-free when he woke up this morning and got out of bed. He has a long way to go, but he was so excited he just wanted me to thank you. And that's how we roll here, ladies and gentlemen, worldwide, filling in the gaps, and they are huge. They're not gaps, they're tears. They're Grand Canyons. They're Marianas Trenches. They are freaking-gantic holes. Actually, it would be easier to approximate where the MD's whole cloth is whole and not torn than it would be to figure out where it's torn, because it's mostly torn. It is mostly torn. All around the world, people are suffering needlessly. Why? For the simple reason that they've taken the wrong dog to the hunt. They've taken their bodies to an allopathically trained, reductionistic MD, pharmaceutical centrist, with a chronic health condition, which is tantamount to, taking your goldfish to a plumber, or let's say you have a $3,000 Siamese fighting fish, those like crazy fish, right? Very, very expensive. So you're like into that, man, and you've got a couple and one of them gets sick. And so what are you going to do? You're going to take them to a plumber? Well, your plumber knows about water. Fish lives in the water. It's a good idea, right? No, it's a stupid idea. It's the wrong dog for the hunt. It's the wrong professional for the job. Your MD, bless their hearts, are only trained in one tiny aspect of the science of medicine. It's referred to as allopathic reductionism. And allopathic reductionism argues your body can't fix itself. It can't do it. And it is not your doctor's job. This is a big eye-opener for most people, right? I mean, you need to know what you're getting into. You do. I mean, you read the reviews of the movie before you go and lay down $10 for the movie and $20 for the popcorn and the soda pop, right? I mean, why do we still do that? It's crazy, right? We spend so much money on the condiments, right? But we do. Because we like the community. We like being involved in a community. We like the energy that invokes. It makes us feel, real. But I digress. So, we go to the MD with a chronic health condition because they own the show. There isn't anybody else around to go to, and we think that they know what's best for us. But they don't. They're not trained how to cure disease. They're not trained how to engender health care. They're trained to suppress symptoms with drugs until things get so bad that surgery is warranted. That's their job. It's an eye-opener. Most people believe incorrectly that their MD wants to cure them of whatever it is they've got, and the MD does not want to cure them. It's not the MD's job to cure them. And, it's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just a thing. You need to know what you're getting into. You read the review of the movie before you go to the movie, right? You when you buy a new car, you kick the tires and slam the doors and drive it around the block, right? You read the reviews. You read the Consumer Reports. You read the Kelley Blue Book. You get as much information as you can, but when it comes to your health, you just go to the one doctor and do whatever they say. And then, if they can't fix you, they'll refer you to a specialist who practices the same type of medicine. When was the last time a medical doctor ever referred you to a chiropractor? Ever. Or an acupuncturist, or an herbalist, or a naturopath. Ever. I mean, ever. Has that ever happened? No. It's MDA, MDB, MDC, or MDE, so forth and so forth and so forth, ad infinitum, till death or bankruptcy do us part. Bankruptcy usually comes first, at least in the United States, where bankruptcy is the leading cause of bankruptcy is medical bills. And, it's not because of a runaway for-profit medical industry. It's not because of an out-of-control, unregulated insurance industry. It's not because of corruption at a government level. It's not because of any of these things. And although all of these things are there and present and come into play, the reason that the leading cause of bankruptcy is medical bills is because the medicine that people use to fix themselves doesn't work. It doesn't work. And this is the biggest eye-opener for people, and this is our biggest foundation message. Your medical doctor may be the nicest person in the world, but they don't particularly know what's best for you. They only know what they've been trained in. And what they've been trained in, well, it's just one small piece of the pie of medical science. And it's good for surgery. It's good for trauma care, when trauma care is, when you have a trauma. But beware, Harvard University, you know what they say. Over half of emergency room medical doctors are addicted, in the U.S., are addicted to street drugs, alcohol, or prescription meds. So over half. So the odds are against you. The odds are that the person who treats you in the emergency room, heaven forbid, is going to be gorked out of their freaking mind on phenobarbital or oxycodone or whatever. So, we need an awakening. We need understanding. Really, all we need is understanding, and the awakening will happen all by itself. All you need is a little sunlight on the seed. Boom, it opens right up. As long as it's in good soil. Sower had good seed. We have the most excellent seed. Now, do we offer a cure-all for every human ailment? Absolutely, positively not. And if you have a broken bone, I'm the last person you should see. Well, I'm the first person you should see after it's stabilized and it's set. If you're bleeding from an artery, I'm the last person you want to see. You've got shrapnel in your leg, I'm definitely the last person you want to see. It's not my wheelhouse. That's not our wheelhouse. Well, as it turns out, taking your body to an MD when it's suffering from any chronic disease is also a bad bet. It's the wrong person for the job. It's the wrong professional. You wouldn't take your $2,000 Siamese fighting fish to a plumber. You want to take it to a veterinarian. Well, you need to take your body, if you're suffering from a chronic health condition, to a holistic physician, because that's our thing. Now, myth-busting, 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 myth-busting. This is our fate this time around on the great wheel of life. We're out in front, the tip of the spear of medical myth-busting. Myth number one, your MD doesn't know what's best for you. Myth number two is that healing is a complicated process. It's a sophisticated process, and it should only be attempted in multi-million-dollar high-tech facilities, a.k.a. hospitals. It's nonsense. Healing is easy. Surgery is complicated. But healing is easy, man, because all you have to do is give the body a break. All you have to do. Do you have to micromanage the growth of the tomato plant? Do you have to get in there with a CT scan and with a biochemical analysis of the fluids coursing through the tomato 24 hours a day? And do you have to micromanage that with fertilizer and pesticides and this, that, and the other thing? Do you have to, like, tweak the dosage of the fertilizer every day? Do you have to do any of that? Do you have to, like, get in there and help the tomato to grow? No. You water it, put it in the sun, leave it the heck alone, and it grows all by itself. Well, as it turns out, the human body does the same thing. And this is the fundamental aspect of life that the MDs have overlooked completely. And I don't know why they overlook it. I don't know who started this nonsense. I could probably trace it back through some historical retrospective based on the physics of Sir Isaac Newton. But the fact of the matter is that the MDs do not believe that the body has intelligence. They do not believe that the body has the ability to fix itself. They think that your body is an evolutionary accident, a fiat of nature, some type of biochemical happenstance, and now you're just a big bag of chemicals waiting to break. That's what they think. So, if you have a heart problem with your heartburn, cut your stomach out. Right? You got a problem with your heart, cut your heart out. If you don't really want to cut the heart out, we'll just burn the hell out of the nerves. Then we'll put a pacemaker in. You got a problem with your, colon? Cut it out. Got a problem with your kidneys? Yank one out. You only need one kidney. Let's just take the appendix out. You got a problem with your knees? Cut them off. Oh, you think you might have breast cancer? Well, cut your breasts off preventively. They tricked Angelina Jolie into that. I think there's a backstory there, but I don't know what it is. In fact, in point of fact, we are in the business of myth-busting, ladies and gentlemen. Fire your medical doctor unless you have an acute illness, some type of trauma. You really do need surgery, which often is not the case. And understand that healing is easy. All you need to do is give your body a break and let the healing begin. 866-582-9933. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, looking forward to taking your calls. Today is Wednesday, the 19th of February, 2014. Stick around. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Wednesday, February 19th, 2014. How time flies. Achtung, everybody. Guess who's back? It's our old friend Gottfried from Germany, the motherland. Let's see what's going on across the pond. Hello, Gottfried. Welcome back. You are live.
Hey, Doc. How are you?
Oh, ach du lieber. I am so good. Ja, I'm so good.
Good.
Good, ja.
So schön.
Ja, so schön. Ja, sprechen Sie Deutsch. Ja.
Ja. Gut. Hierzu, ich habe eine Kinder, 6-Jahr Kinder.
6-Jahr Kinder? Yeah, what does that mean? I don't think the listening audience wants to know what that means.
Because now longevity is international now, so they have to listen to it.
Now, give the listening audience a little bit of your background in business, Gottfried. What's your background in business like?
My background is I schooled in America for 3 years. I'm a Cisco engineer. I work for British Telecom as internet manager. I work in Call Telecom in Germany as project manager. My last place of work was Citibank, Europe. I was IT director there.
That's a pretty impressive resume, Gottfried. Pretty impressive.
And when I came to nutrition, I started with Nature Sunshine in Utah.
Oh, yeah.
I raised to the level of a manager and then got to Noni International.
Yeah.
But when I got to longevity, I gave up all these people and signed up for longevity.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that shows.
I never look back.
Never look back. Yeah, it shows a lot of commitment on your part. What was it about the longevity message or the longevity products that really made a difference for you?
The few crazy.
Oh yeah.
I have cyclo, laser surgery.
Yeah.
And then the doctors mess up with my eyes after they want to lower my glaucoma. But unfortunately, they are so idiots, sorry to use this word, but they don't know what they are doing and they damage my eyes.
Yeah.
They told me that I should go and take the eyeball out and they should put the glass in.
Well, that's exactly what I was talking about in my monologue today, right? I mean, that's their whole thing, man. Just, hold the line, boys, until it gets so bad that we'll surgically remove it. And we've got the beautiful glass eye from Switzerland now. That's what we have. It's the Cristal glass eye. It's only $10,000 per pupil. Right? I mean, that's how they think. And nobody calls them on it because nobody knows that everybody thinks that that's just the way that it has to be. And there is another way, and that's the skill set that we bring to the table.
So I called you immediately and said, Doc, this is a problem. And you dial in for me. You said, yep, to grow up my blood vessels and things, I have to go immediately in Fruquoidin, which I did. Less than a month, the eye which the glaucoma level was showing 0. Immediately, it started to grow to 4. When I went, and the doctor, the woman doctor who told me that I have to take my eyes off and put a glass eye there, she was shocked. Yeah. Before she can speak, she said she doesn't speak English, but today, 2 weeks ago was the situation, or a month ago. She was speaking English to me, how much the doctors charge in America, and et cetera. She was questioning me.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I just wanted to tell her, look, if you give me 5 of your blind people, longevity can help them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true too, and this is what we're up against. The hardest people in the world to convince, ironically, about what we do are medical professionals because they're so unbelievably invested in their own, in their own methodology. I can't tell you how many times when I had a very active private practice, I would help patients of MDs who worked right down the street from me. And the MDs were managing these patients' symptoms for years, sometimes decades. And under my care, in a couple months, they're completely better, 100% better. And I never got a phone call from these people. It's nuts how human beings think. That is, everybody except Longevity Nation. Stick around. We'll be back after these messages, folks. Sprachen Sie English? Gottfried does. And he's calling us from Germany. Always a pleasure to speak to Gottfried. So what's on your mind today, my friend? How can I help?
Listen, I want the listening audience to know that I know most of them were veterans who were stationed in Germany before. They can testify how best German bread is, how best German nitrate meat are. But I've sacrificed all these things just to get myself on board longevity.
I know, you're giving up quite a bit, and let's not even talk about beer. I'm telling you, if somebody invents a gluten-free beer that tastes good, they're going to be an overnight millionaire. Listen up, people in Radio Land. If you are aware of a good, high-quality, good-tasting, gluten-free beer, I need to know about it. Let's get all you home distillers working on that one. I mean, Sam Adams started in somebody's kitchen. I think we could have an international thing here, Gottfried. But I'm telling you what, this is the thing, right? You got to give up the stuff that you thought was good, and really it does taste really pretty good. But the longer that you stay away from it, you don't really even crave it anymore, do you?
Yeah, no, I don't need it anymore. I need my nutrition.
Yeah, everybody needs their nutrition. Gottfried, man, it is always a pleasure to talk to you. Give us a call anytime in regards to your lovely wife.
Listen, there's a 6-year-old girl in Luxembourg.
Okay.
She's still wee-wee in bed. So what is the problem? What can we do for this girl to stop weeping in bed? She's 6-year-old, premature girl, and losing protein because this is what the doctors came up to.
Okay, so she has a problem with urinating at night in bed, and there's
That's
protein,
right.
and there's protein in the urine.
No, but her blood tests show that it's lacking protein.
Oh, it's lacking protein. Oh, all right. So that's a digestion issue. And,
That's right.
Right, yeah. So what we need to do, whenever there's a deficiency in nutrients, like things like protein, food nutrients like protein or sugar in the blood, then the first thing you need to think about, the second thing you need to think about, and the third thing you need to think about is an impaired absorbability index in the body. And, everybody knows the thing that causes that. It's wheat, barley, rye, and oats. So the best thing for this child to start with would be the healthy digestion pack, appropriate for body weight, and eliminate the 10 bad foods. Now, often, it's interesting, urination at night in bed in kids, while they're asleep, is a direct result of a food allergy. It's a direct result of a food allergy. Well, what are the most common foods that people are allergic to? Wheat, barley, rye, and oats. So we might get lucky and kill two birds with one stone here. In addition, my advice would be eliminate the 10 bad foods, do the healthy digestion pack for her, and in addition, reference the blood type diet, and eliminate the top 3 foods that are bad for her blood type, in addition to eliminating the 10 bad foods that I recommend. So, for instance, if she's a blood type O negative or O positive, she would also need to eliminate milk and cheese and yogurt. Okay? So, yeah. I'm pretty sure this is a food allergy situation, the urination at night in bed and the lack of protein. It's a simple absorption issue. So that's how I would handle it, man. Give me a shout back and let me know how it goes.
Okay.
All right, Godfrey, you're the greatest, man. I got to move on.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much. I appreciate you very much. It must be about midnight in Germany now. That's dedication, folks. From Germany to Tennessee, there's quite a switch. How about that? Let's see what Nancy's up to. Hey, Nancy, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi. I just had some dental surgery.
Yeah.
And I had some implants put in.
Yeah.
The doctor prescribed clindamycin for me to take, along with an oral antibiotic, swishing antibiotic.
Yeah.
And I told him I really I don't take prescription medications, and I wanted to know what I can do naturally in lieu of the antibiotic. I'm actually using homeopathic arnica. Yeah. For healing at the moment. So.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with homeopathy. How many implants did you have?
I had 3.
And how did it go? I mean, how did it go? How did the procedure go? Were there any hitches or any glitches? And are you?
He said everything went well. This was yesterday.
Yeah.
My mouth is very swollen now, and my jaw is protruding, and but I mean, I think that's normal.
Yeah. Okay. So
I'm going to switch phones quickly.
Okay.
Are you still?
Oh, that's a horrible signal, Nancy. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop the call here. I'm going to put you on hold, and I'm going to answer your question because we really just have a lousy audio signal on your end. So stick around and listen to what I have to say, and I appreciate your phone call very, very much. So here's the deal with this, folks. It's not the drug, it's how it's used. It's not the gun, it's how it's used. Sometimes antibiotics are effective, and sometimes they will kill you. I mean, that's how antibiotic-resistant bacteria happened. It's the wanton, indiscriminate, juvenile, unprofessional use of antibiotics like freaking bubble gum. Antibiotic-resistant disease is the fault of your MD. That responsibility lies squarely on their shoulders, and nobody is stepping up to the plate and taking responsibility for it. Because that's just not how they roll. Not ever have I seen these people take responsibility for their actions. But they're more than happy to have another disease named after them so they can live on in immortality. For goodness sake, they're not men. They're children playing at being men. So sometimes antibiotics are effective. Now, if I had oral surgery like this, I would go on antibiotics. I would go on antibiotics for 5 days. I'd do the oral swishy stuff, and I'd also do the clindamycin. Do it for 5 days, not a problema. After 5 days, I would stop it. I wouldn't do it for 6 days. I would do it for 5 days. Now, I can't prescribe drugs in Tennessee, so I can't recommend that you take it or not take it. But if you were my patient in a state in which I can prescribe drugs, that would be the recommendation. Now, if you really don't want to do that, I can support that too. There's no problem there. What you need to do is get some colloidal silver. Get some colloidal silver today, not tomorrow. You need to get it today. Colloidal silver. Whole Foods sells it. Any health food store in the world sells it. Get the biggest bottle of colloidal silver that you can find. It's going to be a pricey item, but I want you to get it anyway. I want you to put a tablespoon of colloidal silver in an ounce of water. Distilled water would be best for this. Well, actually not. Just purified water is okay. An tablespoon of colloidal silver in an ounce of water, and I want you to swish that around in your mouth every hour. Tablespoon of colloidal silver, swish it around in your mouth every hour and swallow it down for the rest of today. And then tomorrow, every 3 hours. 1 tablespoon of colloidal silver in a little bit of water. Swish it around in your mouth every 3 hours. Now, Longevity has a fantastic immune support product called Killer Biotic. It's 5 different herbs, I think, 4 or 5 different herbs, each of which has a different job, a different way in which it stimulates and promotes the function of the immune system, which is the thing to do here when we're ostensibly helping the body to fight some type of an infectious event, right? So if you had Longevity's Killer Biotic, I would recommend you to take 9 a day for the next 7 days. 3 with breakfast, 3 with lunch, 3 with dinner for the next 7 days. 3 with breakfast, 3 with lunch, and 3 with dinner for the next 7 days to support and promote the structure of the immune system, or the function of the immune system. Now, the immune system is made from protein. So whenever we need to bolster the immune system, it's not a bad idea to up the ante in the protein department. So every time you eat a meal for the next week, 50% of what's on your plate should be protein. Eggs are the protein, chicken eggs are the protein that all other proteins are compared to. You can't get a more perfect protein than a chicken egg, so I don't know, eat 2-3 chicken eggs a day. No problem. Last thing to do is severely, for the next 7 days, restrict your intake of any extracurricular sugar. I don't even want you having fruit juice, no orange juice, no extracurricular sugar at all, no honey, no agave, no molasses, no maple syrup, nada, 0 tolerance. 9 tolerance for anything that has sugar in it, because sugar depresses immune function. And you don't want to depress immune function in the state that you're in right now. Now, having said all of that, when people go into the surgical theater with a body that is nutrified and mineralized, their experience of the surgery and their recovery from surgery, no matter what it is, if it's a simple outpatient procedure, if it's complicated heart-lung removal, they always end up with a shorter recovery time, and they bounce right back from it. So your body needs to be nutrified. And, of course, this begs the question, well, what happened that made the teeth so bad that you needed implants in the first place? It's not the aging process, and it's not because you have teeth. Now, notwithstanding some type of trauma to the mouth, right, like you got punched in the mouth, heaven forbid, or you fell down the stairs, heaven forbid, or whatever, when teeth go bad, most of the time it's because the teeth have run out of the nutrients they need to stay healthy, from our point of view. So I would, moving forward, get on board with a full holistic medical nutrition program, because everybody needs to be nutrified. There's not nearly enough nutrition in the food that we eat. One of the things that everybody needs to do to add to their daily regimen in order to survive on good old planet Earth is suck down the 90 essential nutrients every day. And in this case, I would gainsay you need a little extra calcium. So my recommendation for you, Nancy from Tennessee, moving forward in your life would be every day 1 Healthy Start Pack and 1 bottle of selenium per 100 pounds of body weight per month, and 1 extra bottle of Beyond Osteo FX every month, plus eliminate the 10 bad foods and let the healing begin. I appreciate your phone call very much. Kathy in Maryland is up next with an update. We have just a little bit of time left, but I think we can squeeze her in. Hey, Kathy, thanks for the phone call.
Well, I ended up at the hospital and tried to stay away till I couldn't breathe anymore, and I ended up going to the emergency room, and of course they slapped me in a bed, and then I was theirs because you can't get out unless you sign a waiver, and then no insurance pays or anything.
So bring me in. So what was the problem? Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease or what?
Congestive heart failure, they said, and so I'm thinking, but I'm taking all this Ultimate Daily. I'm taking 6 a day. Is that enough thiamine?
Well, how long? All right, it's a good question. So now you're out of the hospital, or are you calling me from the hospital?
No, I got out yesterday, right when I would have been calling you.
Hey, all right, so what did they do when you were in the hospital, and how do you feel?
Well, I sat there waiting because my heart was out of rhythm, and they sat there for 3 days trying to get my heart back in rhythm and made me stay there. I said I can do the same thing at home, but no, I had to stay there. So what did they do?
So they were just waiting and observing?
No, they put me on Lasix, and they were trying to find the thing I was taking before, which was Multoc for the arrhythmia. They said wasn't.
All right, Kathy, up against the hard break. Hold on. Stick around, folks. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Finishing out the first hour with Kathy, who's calling us with an update. She was just released from the hospital. So they gave you a bunch of drugs, kept you in there for 3 days, and did the heart rate calm down? I mean, was there anything positive that happened, or what's the deal?
It didn't. He gave me 3 every day, amiodarone, and finally it went in rhythm. Only I think that was because I prayed.
All right, now that's different. Having a heart beating out of rhythm is different than congestive heart failure.
I know.
So what's going on with that?
I don't know. I came in and they said my heart rate was all over the place as far as it was not. And what I had done I had gone to the regular doctor the week on a Monday before the hospital, and he thought that I would be out of rhythm, but I wasn't. I wasn't out of rhythm, and my blood pressure was good. So now he had to go look around. I thought, dang, you go to a heart doctor, now they're going to look for a heart problem. And he wanted to go in and search and see if I needed stents and all, and I elected not to do that. So
is there any fluid accumulation in the lungs at all?
Well, they didn't say so. They said everything was clear, and they let me go home with Lasix and amiodarone.
Okay. So why did you go there in the first place? What were the prevailing symptoms that forced you into that?
I couldn't breathe. I hardly could breathe. I thought I might have pneumonia, and I wanted to get a chest X-ray to make sure I didn't have pneumonia.
Okay. So that symptom of not being able to breathe disappeared when the heart came back into rhythm, right?
Well, no, actually, it disappeared after they gave me Lasix and got the fluid out. So that's what happened. They gave me Lasix, and 2 days I was able to breathe. I was able to walk to the bathroom because I was like, I could hardly make it. I felt like this really old person.
Yeah, okay, good. All right, I'm with you now 100%. So how long have you been following our advice?
I have been on everything since 2012. 2012, I was on the Healthy Start Pack with the glucogel for the arrhythmia, and I recently, maybe half a year ago, started the Ultimate Dailies along with that. I take selenium, I take 6 a day, I take EFA, I take 9 a day.
And you've eliminated the 10 bad foods, right?
Yeah. And trust me, this was like a country club. They had a menu for their and they would actually call you up and say room service for your if you forgot to order your breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Yeah. And I even tried them because I was a dietitian. I wanted to see how well they could control that. So I said, Sabre had me on low salt, and cholesterol, so I had to eat egg beaters. Ugh. And so I said, well, put a lot of cheese in it. Anyway, I asked them for a dill pickle just to test them, and they said I couldn't have it. I said, okay, good girl, because I didn't know how we were going to regulate that. But one of my questions is, why don't we have a CoQ10 standalone or something?
That's a good question. I'm actually working on bringing a CoQ10 product into the company.
Good, because we need that.
Actually, there's a little bit of CoQ10 in the Cardio FX.
Yeah, well, there's not enough in anything to really do anything, but my sponsor went and got me some CoQ10, and when I took that, he swears that's why my heart went in rhythm.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Well, you know what CoQ10 is necessary for, right? Well,
it's to help your heartbeat. Right.
Well, yeah, so here's the deal with CoQ10. Coenzyme Q10 is part of the Krebs cycle. It's a very important keystone in the Krebs cycle, and the Krebs cycle turns sugar into energy. It's how the body turns sugar into energy. It's like when your automobile engine burns gasoline to make the wheels go around. Well, it's the same process. So because the heart is beating all of the time, the heart muscle never ever stops beating, even when you're asleep. The heart muscle needs a constant supply of energy. And so when the heart muscle is funky for whatever reason, because of a weird electrical signal or because the planets have misaligned or whatever, it needs a lot of energy. And so we support that with more CoQ10. So when you give more CoQ10, the body's able to turn over more sugar into energy more efficiently, and it kind of takes the stress off of an improperly beating heart. So the only advice that I have for you, Kathy, is you just got to give the program more time. That's all. That's the only variable here. It's the only variable. I'm sorry?
I was so happy to get home to my minerals.
Yeah, I know, right? Just hang out with the program, girl, and just give it more time and keep calling me. I'm your best friend here. Appreciate you. I'm glad you're still among the living. She made it through the hospital, and she came out alive, ladies and gentlemen. That's a small step for humanity, but it's not a bad one. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Hey, guess what? Hour 2 coming up. See you then.